everyone, and welcome to MMA Island. I'm Zach Harkness, and today I'm joined by the Ultimate Fighter Season 28 semifinalist and UFC heavyweight contender, the Crochet Boss, Maurice Greene. Hello, and welcome to the show.
What up? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
The pleasure's all ours. How's training for the fight going?
You know, it's like Sunday fun day every day. I enjoy the process, and I enjoy learning new things. So I'm having a great time, man. I mean, I'm sore like any other training camp you would be, but I'm really enjoying it. I got my kids and my family out here, and it's the first time that I haven't went away to do a camp. And it hasn't even been a camp. This was just like an impromptu stop that looks like it's turned into a home for me. So.
All right. Well, I want to jump into the first question here. And the first question I want to ask is about your experience with the Ultimate Fighter and the TUF House. Now, what was it like living with just all fighters? And which of your fellow competitors did you find yourself at odds with outside the ring the most?
Come on. We all know come on. I know you've seen it. It ain't no secret. But me and Juan I really had a problem with Juan, but, now that we're off of the show, me and Juan have talked. We're friends. Well, to my recollection, we're friends. Everything's cordial. We just had to get through. Everybody handles that process differently, and the way he handled it is not the way I would have handled it. I just didn't understand it or get it. So that's kind of why we had odds. But now, they know we grown ass men, bro. So like I said, I don't got to get mad at you to whoop your ass. This is just my job. It's like me and you are, having a job interview for, a higher position or a higher pay raise. Somebody got to get that ass whooped. It's not going to be this guy. So, yeah, you got to flip that switch, man. And the Ultimate Fighter probably gave me the realest, it's the hardest shit ever. Like, it's called TUF for a reason. It's the hardest shit ever. I thought it was going to be a walk in the park for me, honestly. And it proved to be as tough as what they say, and it broke me a little bit. But it also made me better, and it made me, it kind of changed my mind about, maybe you weren't ready enough to go into the UFC when you thought you were ready. So, once you get in, you want to stay there. So, that's what we're trying to do. But TUF was the best experience of my life.
So when you got the call for it, like before you even got there, what were you really expecting from it? How hard did you really expect it to be? And
I
did
had
you
no expectations. I was going to go with the flow. It's like
Mhm.
my fights. At the end of the day, I see a W. I have no expectation for where the fight's going to go, how it's going to take me. I just go with the flow, and we just have fun. From the first bell to the last bell, how quick or however long it's going to be. It's important to have a good time, man. We get to enjoy ourselves. We get to do what we love to do on the biggest stage to do it. Why not fucking enjoy it a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I want to move into the next question here, and I want to ask about your saga with fellow UFC heavyweight Jeff Hughes. Now, you guys fought in the main event of LFA 38, a fight where he won by decision, but then you guys fought again at UFC Fight Night 146, and this time you would be victorious. Did you ask for the rematch with Jeff, and what things that you learned from the first fight did you implement into the second one to come out on top?
Nope, didn't ask for a fight for Jeff. It was a short notice fight. I think he was supposed to be fighting Daniel Spitz. Daniel Spitz got hurt, pulled out. They called me. I was fat, lazy. I got up off my couch and I fought him. And it was a lot different. I had to throw Jeff for 3 rounds, and Jeff had been training for a while, and Jeff is dangerous. So, it was a close split decision. So again, me and Jeff are friends. Me and Jeff want to get some work in. If we meet each other down the road, and we meet each other down the road, we can start fucking round. We can start round what? Five. We can start round 9. You know what I mean? So, like I said, man, I'm trying to get back into the rankings, and now that I'm here at Jackson Wink, we out here training for the Kentucky Derby because we got a stable of heavyweights, whole stable of them. So, um, man, I mean, when you're training with guys big and strong and fast and athletic, man, it's sky's the limit. And then from a light heavyweight standpoint, there's Devin Clark, you got Christian who's in Bellator. I mean, it's just, and then you got the GOAT, the greatest fighter of all time. I mean, what more can a heavyweight ask for, all under one roof? And then you got, you know, um, two world class coaches who are unlike any coaches I've ever had. So, and I've had quite a few coaches. um, so, man, there's no. I don't know how I don't. I don't know how I don't be great, but we taking one fight at a time. We put one foot in front of the other, and we never try to do a super jump. We never try to skip steps. So
Could you tell there was like a difference in between the two fights, especially because one of your fights with Jeff was 5 rounds and one of your fights was three?
yeah, I was fat. It was a short notice fight. I was out of shape. Second time, I just got off my couch and fought, man. Who else do you fight? Who else do you fight on short notice but a guy you went 5 rounds with? I wouldn't have taken the
Exactly.
fight if it was anybody else. I was out of shape, and I was like, you know what? I think I could still beat him. You know, this is my thought was if he's any different, then I may be in a little trouble. But you got to make adjustments. But if he's the same Jeff, I may be able to beat him, and I was able to beat him. You know, I'm not the judges, so they judge it. If they say I won, I won. Damn it.
All right. Yeah. Well, I think you won too. So I want to move into the next question here. Now, many fighters from your season of Tough are not currently in the UFC, while you are a strong contender in your division and probably the most successful so far from the season. How did you find yourself coming back to the UFC from Tough, and how do you feel about outlasting almost everyone from your season?
Nah, I'd say there's one that's better than me, and that would be Macy Chasson. Macy's 4-1 in the UFC. She's been doing work. You can't disrespect. You can't. You gotta put respect on her name. She's probably the most successful out of all of us, the featherweight winner. She really is. Um, I'm a close second though. I'm a close second to Macy, and man, it's just you know you see Panties in, Bea's in, Ben's in. Um, there's only two left on our team that's not in the UFC right now. I just take fights, man. I just don't say no, and I'm always available. If the UFC calls me, usually I'm there. I turned down one fight. Actually, I accepted it, and then I accepted the Ben Rothwell fight. We signed the contract. Everything I put on hold, right? And then they had to change the date of it, but I didn't. I was supposed to go out to Factory X at the time. I was gonna leave the next day, but they postponed everything, so I stayed home. I didn't go to Factory X, and they called me with 2 weeks left, and man, I was going back and forth, and it was really hard not to take the fight because again, I feel like Ben Rothwell's a tough opponent, but I beat him. As long as I'm EA Sports in the game, I beat Ben Rothwell, um, and that's no disrespect. That's just motherfucker, I'm gonna beat you. You know, you're getting old, and you know, it's just the right move if it ever comes up. So um, it just didn't work out. My coaches told me not to take it, and I listened to them, and then Jean came. Jean was supposed to fight Ben first. You know, and Villante is actually my brother's college football teammate at Hofstra. They play football together. But you know, it was a good fight, and I wasn't gonna say no anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter really who they offered me. I just wasn't gonna say no.
Right.
I already told myself I'm gonna make sure I'm in shape, right? Whoever they offer me, we're fighting. Like, what's up? We fighting. We gonna fight. Cause I may not have a number next to my name. I may not have this. People may tell you different. I'm the best in the fucking division. I'm one of the best. I got the potential to be the best in the division. Um, it's just gonna take time and taking the right steps. You know, taking the right steps. And I'm not saying picking my fights. Um, if I can sway them one way or another, hell yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna fight. And I'm not like I always say. I'll get knocked the fuck out to try to do something special to every opponent. You know, 'cause at the end of the day, we ain't got no sports, man. We gotta put on. But again, I gotta stay EA Sports in the game.
So you mentioned that you were booked to fight Ben Rothwell. When was that fight booked for? And were any of his recent performances that you've seen any more indications that you'd feel more confident about you winning that fight?
No comment on all that other stuff about the fight. The contract was signed though, just so you know. I just don't know how much. Yeah. Um, as far as indication, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Ben looked very good his last fight. Um, I think better than he has in a while. I haven't been too impressed with him, but Ben's a pressure guy. But I think he looked. he looked a little quicker, sharper than he has looked. So it would have been a tough fight, man. Whenever you fight Ben Rothwell, you know what you're getting yourself into. Like you know what you're getting yourself into. You got to take him to deep water or possibly go a decision with him. You know he got the cardio. So this is a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. I like tough fights. I like challenges. You know,
From Oh yeah, sorry. From one crazy veteran to another, you recently took on Alexei Oleinik at UFC 246, where you put on a strong showing, even though you did not come out on top. Now, Oleinik is known for his crazy ground game. So, as someone who has actually experienced it, what is it actually like grappling with Alexei Oleinik? And do you think your experiences with him have better prepared you for grappling exchanges in your future fights?
I mean, it's just like, man, I don't know if you guys know, I'm a grappler. I grapple. I'm not a wrestler, but yeah, I'll do jiu-jitsu with you. If you want to wrestle, fuck me from the top, I'll jiu-jitsu the shit out of your ass. As you can see what I did with Olenek. You know, he got close to that Ezekiel, but I was ready for it. You know, he got me with the Russian armbar, and I defended it the wrong way. And it's my fault. That will never happen again. But that's his job. His job is to do something that I don't know how to defend or I can't defend. You know, I think I had a strong showing. I think, like I said, like again, I was I was trying to knock his head off his shoulders. Okay, I wasn't EA Sports in the game because there's a fine line and a balance between knocking their head off their shoulders and being too lax. You got to find that sweet spot. And I was too above that. So it's my own fault. It's nobody's fault but mine. My coaches prepared me. I was 100% ready, as you can see, for the fight. But when you fight a guy with that much experience and that type of probably MMA IQ or IQ of the game, you can't make those little mistakes. Too many of those little mistakes add up to a loss, and that's just, it's unfortunate, but that's just what happened to me. Um, you know, but like Nipsey Hussle said, minor setback. I don't know what he said. I forgot actually.
So you said that there's a balance between knocking the opponent's head off and being very lax. Which one of your fights would you consider yourself finding that balance the best?
Junior Albini.
Junior Albini, very nice. Now, I want to
Yeah.
move into your next fight, which is going to be against Gian Villante on June 27th. Now, this fight is kind of an odd booking because this is Villante's first fight at heavyweight, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Are you having any concerns about finding a smaller guy, and are you excited to test yourself against another guy with a lot of experience?
I don't care. I'm not looking for. Listen, I'm not looking for somebody to mimic his style. I'm not looking for it. I'm not looking for a smaller guy. Everybody is smaller guys for the most part. Everybody. So, um, if I'm gonna go out and have somebody do everything that he does, I'm gonna go out and play my game. I'm gonna find my swag. I'm gonna play my game. I'll make adjustments in the fight. You know, we got techniques that we're looking to work that we think may work better than others here. At Jackson Wink, and I find my flow. I'm a flow fighter, man. I don't want to jab cross hook. I'm not that guy. I'm a flow with it, and that's just how I've always been. So you kind of never know what you're gonna get from me. You can try to train for me, but I'm gonna have some extra tools in my belt. So you can look at what I did last time, but you better be ready for what I got for yo ass this time. So
Right. Now,
I'm sure he's gonna train his ass off. I'm gonna see the best Jean Villante ever. And if I see anything less than that, that's on him. That ain't got shit to do with me. He gonna see the best Maurice yet. He's gonna see the Crochet Boss at his best. So, um, I made my mind up. I'm winning this fight, and he got to change it if he can. I don't think he can. I'm pretty sure that. I mean, it's gonna be a tough fight, but he's not gonna change my mind that I'm not coming out there with a W, coming out of that cage with a W. So,
now, you recently mentioned Jackson Wink, and so you recently switched camps from Factory X to Jackson Wink. What prompted this switch of camps, and what are you looking to develop most under their tutelage?
I learned a lot at Factory X, and all the people are good at Factory X. Mark Montoya is a world class coach. Um, but you know, I did 3 camps there, and you figure out what works for you, and it didn't we didn't kind of we didn't we didn't kind of work, you know, like everything has to work for me to make it work. So and it just didn't work. So we parted our ways. No hard feelings, no love lost. Um, and when that happened, my coach, Tony Martin, had got a short notice fight against Neil Magny, right? So my coach, Brock Larson, had to go spend 2 weeks with Tony Martin, getting him ready in Vegas because he's fighting Saturday. So I was like, shit, I got to do something. So me and my family hopped in the car. We drove 24 hours to Jackson Wink, got out of Minnesota. So um, and then I got here, and everybody's been so good, man. It's, Greg Jackson and Mike Winklejohn. I mean, I haven't been here that long. We started working game plan. They're taking the time. We're putting the work in together. In addition to like I said, we trying to win the Kentucky Derby here because we got a stable of stallions. Okay, we got a stable of stallions. Um, and shit, man. Where else can you go where you got 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in a room who are all heavyweights at all high level, and can move, and every one of us brings our own skill set, which is a little bit different. So you're constantly seeing, everybody's, you're constantly switching, and you're learning. You're not training for one guy. You're just, building that tool belt, building that tool belt, you know.
Now, what would you say are the biggest differences from Factory X and Jackson Wink from just your short time there? What would you say are the biggest differences?
No, they're both great. This one just works better for me. I'm just not gonna get into all that. That's not. I don't get down like that. So they run two different programs. They run them differently, and it works for both of them. I just have to figure out which one works for me. So there's a lot of differences, um, but none of them are negative and positive.
All right.
None
Now,
of them, like the negative ones, they don't. They run them totally different. So it's hard for me to compare.
right. Now, as many of us know, the Crochet Boss goes beyond a nickname, as you have a legitimate talent for crochet. How did you start to take this up? And is there anything you've learned from your time crocheting that could be applied to your fighting?
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. When you're slow and you're control with your crochet hooks, it's smooth. When you're smooth, it becomes fast. It's the same thing in kickboxing, boxing, whatever. When you're slow and controlled, slow to an extent, you're smooth. When you're smooth, you're fast. You can go wing punches and you can be fast here and there, but when you're slow and smooth, bro, you flowing with it. Bap, 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 bap. You can build a beat on them. So I think I forgot the question.
How did you start to take it up? How did you get into crochet?
Um, I was about 330 pounds, and I couldn't find clothes my size, so I started doing clothing, and to change the way we kind of like were doing things. Um, I figured I'd start knitting, so I started knitting scarves actually, first, and the scarves moved into when I met my fiance. She was like, "Hey, you should crochet. It's faster." So we lived in Chicago at the time. I got on YouTube and looked at a crochet how to crochet, and I started crocheting. And now I've been on probably over a decade, so maybe 14, 13, 14, something crazy like that. I've gotten to a point where my stitches are just consistent. Like I say, my stitches are impeccable.
All
They
right.
are. Your grandma can make what I make, but my colorways are better. Your grandma make the 1970s joint that look like shag rug. I'm gonna make the 2020 joint to go with the new Jays or the LeBrons. So
I
I mean,
like
or
that.
your Birkenstocks. I'm just saying.
I like that a lot. Now, I want to move into the next question here. And all but one fight in your career you fought in the United States. Now, the outlier was a fight in Singapore back in October. Is it disorienting a bit to fight so far from home? And does that play a part in a fighter's performance? No, not really.
It could. For me, it didn't. I mean, it was like home there. I have family in Singapore. My stepmom's is from Singapore, so she's still a Singaporean citizen. She carries a green card here because she wants to keep her citizenship in her home. So I actually got to see family there and meet new family. So I wanted to go there. There was there was no saying no to that fight because I wanted to go to Singapore.
Oh, that's
So
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to move into the next question. How were you initially reached out to for the Ultimate Fighter? Like, how did they figure out and how did they reach out to you?
Nobody reached out to me. I actually booked my tickets to go. I reached out to them and told them I was gonna go. And oh no, what happened was somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, we were originally gonna try to get Jeff Hughes on Ultimate Fighter, but he didn't want to do it. We think you should. It'd be nice, like you should show up to the audition." Is what they said. So I went to the audition and I got past the MMA part, but then it's up to the production team, and you sit in there with those guys and they pick what they want. But I'm not gonna lie to you, and it's not me being cocky. It's just knowing how different it was. I crocheted the whole time we were waiting. It was a full day, so I was sitting there making hats. So they would actually see me start and finish a hat. You know, you got 200. I mean, I take it serious too. I don't do it as it's not a gimmick. Somebody kept saying, "Oh, that's a gimmick. That's a great gimmick." No, motherfucker, it's not a gimmick. It's what I do. Like, it's what I do. I've been crocheting longer. I've been fighting. I take pride in what I do. And I make some dope shit. Sorry,
It's, no, it's
people
true.
just people just laughing off, and I'm like, no, motherfucker, I really do this. I don't know. I'll sit with your grandma and we'll talk about old movies, and we'll crochet some cool shit, and then I'll sell it to you for a couple $100, and you'll buy it.
That's crochet related trash talk. I think is just kind of the best there is. Now, also during your time there, what were some of the things that Kelvin taught you that you still do your fights and otherwise to this day?
Um, just the work ethic, man. Just how they had us working, work, work. Coach T. Um, I still talk to him to this day. He pretty much looked after all of us heavyweights. He was tough on us. Um, Coach Corey, the striking coach, I still talk to him to this day. Calvin still talk to him. He actually invited us out to his place, and like I think we're all still close. Probably much closer than a lot of other Ultimate Fighter guys. We make it a point to talk to each other. I talked to Justin. I talked to most of them. I just don't talk to Marcia. I don't think anybody's really talked to Marcia. Well, we talked to everybody else on the team. Talked to Panny from time to time too. So
That's very nice. So, moving to the next question here. As UFC 246 was headlined by Conor McGregor, it was probably without a doubt the biggest event that you personally have ever fought on, and especially because you were on the main card. Now, is fighting on the main card of a massive pay-per-view show a different experience than anything you'd ever previously encountered in your fighting career thus far, or did it just feel like just another fight?
yeah, you gotta do more media. It's kind of fun, until it's not fun. you know, um, I gotta do more media. You have more eyes on you, which is kind of cool. You know, you had celebrities out to get to see what the up and comers are and get excited about the new crop. Yeah, I wish I really would have won, and but that's good. It was cool. I was on the pay per view. I think I didn't disappoint. You know, um, yeah, it's cool. See, I got personal goals, and you know, I want Joe Rogan to do an interview with me, and that hasn't happened. So it was great. I was on the pay per view, but it's time I gotta win. I want to headline a card, headline a pay per view, have my face on the poster, so I can give it to my son. So that's the type of shit that means something to me. So we're gonna keep working until we get there.
Now, you said you had to do like a bunch more media. Like, how much more and like how much more would you do at 246 compared to just like any regular UFC Fight Night card?
Oh, we just did we did media day and maybe two or three more interviews. Nothing major. I didn't have to go to radio stations. You gotta, like DC said. Oh, like DC said, why is it not working? There we go. Like DC said, there's level to this. There's levels to this, man. So I just stay in my lane until I need to switch lanes to get into the better lane. So I'm staying in my lane until that time comes where I can swerve and get into the other lane. You know, that's just where I'm at with it.
Unfortunately, I think that's all the questions I have for today. I would like to thank you so much for coming on the show and taking this time out of your day to talk with us. Is there anything you would like to say to the people out there?
Hey, man, It's Maurice Greene, the Crochet Boss, man. Um, if you don't know, we'll be the champion one day. We're just gonna take it one step at a time. So if you ain't on board, please follow me. Please support the Crochet Boss. We on our way to the top. I appreciate you, Zach. Thanks for the time on the show here and inviting me on.
And again, I would like to thank the Crochet Boss Maurice Greene for coming on, and I would like to thank you, the viewer, for watching this interview. I've been Zach Harkness with MMA Island, and I will see you all in the next one.